Welcome back to Code It Live. Jay and I were on the first episode, but we missed our partner in crime, Jonathan. So, Jonathan, why don't you introduce yourself real quick?
Uh, Jonathan Reed. I guess technically speaking, I'm a principal solutions engineer for Sitefinity, but I drink all things DX when it comes to projects. So anything that's related to the digital experience, you will find me toying around with it for sure.
As your shirt says.
Yes, as it says,
Yeah,
all things DX.
yeah. Isn't everything digital? Like I don't deal with paper
Uh,
all that much. I don't deal with humans too much. Digital, I'm good.
Digital is important, that's for sure.
And you mean
Should
DirectX,
deal with
right?
humans more. Yeah.
Uh,
DirectX. Oof.
uh,
Yeah, there's one. They're letting us have it already, huh?
good to see you, Full Schnabel. And yeah, let's.
Maybe it was
Um,
Silverlight.
oh, you said that word.
I
Now
did it.
it's going to
I
go
did
down.
it.
Yeah,
I
it
did
did.
it.
We
All
went
right.
down that way last week.
Yeah, we did for a little bit. And I'm Sam. I come from the dev side of the family here, and Jay, you do both. You do everything. I think all three of us here dabble enough into marketing and IT and dev and all the things. We do whatever keeps the boat floating, right? All right.
Yep.
So we talked about digital experiences a little bit. A lot of the concepts were a little foreign to me last week, and Jay did his best trying to explain all the things. But I have more questions because a lot of modern digital experiences that I hear, they come from a centralized CMS per se, a command, a content management system, but it means so many different things to everybody. So Jonathan and Jay, I know you may have had a thing or two to deal with Sitefinity, but I wanted to pick your brains on where things stand. Jonathan and me, back in the wonderful pandemic days, we did a few streams together, and
Couple.
we did a few. We built out things in Sitefinity, but things have evolved quite a bit. So I want
Sure.
to what's new and what's happening. So if you bear with me, I'm going to just pull up my desktop here. Thought CMS was solved by now? Yeah, it is solved. You just need to please do not rediscover your blogs engine or your CMS by hand. I mean, not to say that you cannot, but it's a lot you're taking on. Yeah. So hopefully you're using tools that help you do better.
Sure.
Okay, so here's my desktop. So first up, I am coming from my Telerik background, but I go up here and I get into Sitefinity. And the moment I open up everything Sitefinity, it is a slightly different world for me, but it is still a lot of the same things. But we are catering to different audiences here. So first up, I want to ask you all, both of you, like what is Sitefinity in an elevator pitch, and what are some nuances? Because I do have questions about all of these platforms and solutions, but what is Sitefinity to you folks now?
We didn't discuss this ahead of time, but I think we got a rock, paper, scissors for it, right? No?
Yeah, okay.
Ready? Ready? Oh, the lag got me. All right. Go ahead, Jay. You can go first.
Yeah,
I'll
Jay.
go first. All right. Okay. Look. I think it's safe to say that Sitefinity had its beginnings in the CMS world, but I think it's probably now becoming a bit more of an ecosystem as to itself because there's a multitude of things that the CMS does, and then you bring in things like the customer data platform and Insight and the different hosting options and whatnot. That there's really kind of a lot there. Um, but I think that kind of going back to your kind of point there around, you know, you don't need a CMS, and maybe you just need someone that's good with Notepad or a good developer and whatnot. Like that's fine. But CMS is really about, in my mind, about kind of scaling content operations, managing content operations. CMSs aren't so much around creating content. People don't necessarily see CMSs as a content creation vehicle. It's more of a management vehicle. Uh, so publishing things, unpublishing things, approving things, organizing things, categorizing things. All of these types of activities, they all kind of roll into CMS, and yeah, that's probably my take. I've probably gone more than an elevator stop, but
Yeah,
um,
you can
yeah,
probably
I
talk
wanted
about
to leave.
this for
It was
hours.
it was a tall
That's
building
right.
in Dubai or something
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah. I thought I'd leave some stuff for Jonathan to sort of throw in there. But I think that the developer's work's not done. I think when you bring in a CMS, I think it just creates different work, I guess.
Yeah, okay. All right. So now when I go to Sitefinity today, I see all of this in the drop down. So I have questions. So if I am coming from just a CMS background, like maybe I wanted to run an ASP.NET web application, and then my CEO and my marketing folks kept on coming to me and they want to change. So we said, finally, let's give up on that. Let's just adopt a CMS that helps us, like you said, manage our content. But now it's grown to be so much bigger. So if I'm coming from just a straight up CMS background, what is a Sitefinity platform? What's Sitefinity Cloud?
Well, I mean, cloud we'll definitely touch on in probably in a minute here, but I think the most important thing is in the center of a DXP is a CMS.
Okay.
You have no, I mean, in my humble opinion, you have no DXP without a content strategy, or in this case, a content management system. So it really is the pivotal point of a lot of things, digital experience, not the only thing, right? But the digital experience in this case provided by a content management system becomes a central hub with many spokes going
Mhm.
into other channels, right? Channels, experiences, we'll kind of use those terms interchangeably, where again, content is king, so to
Yeah,
speak,
content
right?
is king.
Or queen, excuse me.
Yeah.
Whoever is important in that particular case, but it all really revolves around structured information, having an easy way to enter it, running it through workflows, yeah, tagging it, categorizing it, and then ultimately exposing it through a
Yeah.
ton of different channels, i.e., experiences. And that's where Sitefinity really sits and is evolved. Now you can see kind of trickling in at the bottom of your chart there. We're not going to go down this path, but the analyst, that's basically what happens. You look at
Mhm.
their charts and the things that they have in the middle of a digital experience is a content management system. No matter where it came from, that's what's in the middle of it. But
Yeah.
there's so many other things, again, around those edges, once packaged together, or giving you the capabilities to package them together, or connect, or all of the above. That's the experience, so to speak.
Yeah. So I heard a couple of things you mentioned. One is, content, and that's the thing you own, and that's the thing that drives your business. But where do you keep that content? Now we're getting into some hosting. You also talked about
There
experiences,
you go.
which means I have to have
Right.
integrations, and then how that content presents itself across multiple form factors and devices and platforms. So a lot of things. And Jay, you mentioned this a little bit. CDP, again, for folks who don't know, that is the customer data platform, and how we harness the power of a modern platform to understand the user's journey. Right? Am I saying that right? And then try to understand those touch points and cater the right message to the right audiences. Is that fair?
Yeah, and I guess probably one kind of key thing to remember here is that I guess with all of the things that we're building, whether it's the CDP or anything, it's really about when you're building out a CMS, a DXP, all of this kind of thing, you're building a system for others to carry on, for others to utilize, right? So to that note, the CDP is really about putting things in place so that when we hand over the keys, this marketing team has got this really kind of powerful capability to create those segments, because all of those necessary integrations have been done, that can deliver that right message to that right person, kind of thing. So they've got the content sitting within the CMS. Now it's like, right, I've written this great message, I want to deliver that
Yeah.
to this right person at this kind of juncture point. So if we're building a solution that allows people to go in and do that kind of at the drop of a hat, like really quickly, without having to kind of go and tap a coder on the shoulder, that's when we're kind of achieved greatness in my mind, right? Because the last thing that developers want is to keep getting asked to do the same thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Wait, I
Yeah.
can't code? Hold on, I gotta go.
Okay, so like your elevator pitch, you have me sold, right? Maybe I've never used a CMS, and I'm jumping in straight into Sitefinity. I don't know any of the backstory, and I want to get started. So maybe this is where, Jonathan, you can help me. So if I click on that Get Started button, I get a few prompts here. So one is show us what's possible. So I'm guessing when I tap on that button, you get an email and you wake up in the middle of the night and you have to go do a demo. Something.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Okay, but the other two are interesting because one, you're saying, hey, you could have a hosted solution in a sandbox, or you're saying, hey, run Sitefinity on a development server. And what if I'm just a one-man shop? All I have is a laptop. What are the different things I can do to get started with Sitefinity?
I mean, from a development standpoint, obviously running it on your own quote unquote development server in the case of getting started with Sitefinity is a strong word. I run all my demonstrations right from my Lenovo ThinkPad.
Oh, wow.
And it works, right? I mean,
Nice.
there's no, it is quite lightweight in regards to
No?
getting started.
It's not even like a big tower under your desk. It's just
It is,
literally a
well, I mean, I
Lenovo.
got one of those too, but we use that for, that's where I store all the media for my house, but that's a different, used to be a photographer. I got to put it somewhere, right?
Oh, nice.
Different, way off topic here. Okay, so yeah, I mean, to get started, especially as somebody who wants to get, their hands dirty, so to speak, that's the best opportunity.
Yeah.
I may ask you to wait for our new trial experience, which again is coming very, very soon, in the next few weeks, where we're going to have a hosted trial experience where it's going to be on our software as a service SaaS platform, or what I like to call it is Sitefinity as a service. Maybe you can throw another S, SaaS. Anyway, but I might recommend that you hang tight and hold out for that one. It's going to be both a development and a non-technical trial hosted platform for you. This one works well, but it's antiquated. How about that? So we have a new experience coming soon. So I'd love to, in a couple of weeks, we should be able to dive into that a little bit deeper to invent that. But yeah, as far as getting started as a developer, the option to the right, it's going to take you over to get some code and some goodies, or you can head on over to our GitHub, and there's lots of great experiences there.
Is that linked somewhere? Where's the GitHub?
I don't know where it's on here. It's just GitHub/Sitefinity. I mean, it's super real. We came up with a real complicated name. Look at that guy's GitHub right there. Check him out. We saw it. We saw it in the browser. We got you now.
All right. So that's this is so. What is this? This is open source for what?
Magic. All Sitefinity magic. To be fair. So from a development experience, this is where we'll often introduce a lot of betas. So my little buddy there, Next.js, which yeah, we did a stream. Was that last week or maybe the week before? I don't know. I've slept since then. But we did a Next.js stream about using Sitefinity as a decoupled platform.
Nice.
So it's really a 3-tiered architecture. You're going to have your choice of front-end technologies, whether it's Next.js, React, right? Angular, or me, I drink that Microsoft champagne, so I'm jumping in with the ASP.NET Core or ASP.NET 7. To be very specific, don't get me on my words there, Sam.
Okay, so hold up for a second. So you mentioned a few things here. So Sitefinity, I think, started 2004, 2005 timeframe, right?
Yeah. It's been almost 20 years.
If I hit this button, what am I getting? Am I getting the runtime or the platform on top? What do I need to host this locally?
I don't remember what happens when you hit the button, Sam. Let's find out.
Oh boy, you're gonna actually make me hit the button.
Yeah, man. I really don't remember what we do, to be honest with you. All right, you gotta have a Telerik account. That's the good stuff.
Okay, I have a few. So
me too. I really don't remember what happens when you hit the button. You did not prep me for this. This is your fault.
I get a NuGet, I get a Java
Yeah.
license, I get a
So
support.
I definitely I recommend NuGet is I mean if you want to start blank,
Yeah.
NuGet and I believe one of those other ones you get a trial license or yeah, this will get you up and running from a blank instance. So
Okay.
there's
So,
one NuGet package.
essentially,
Good to
it's an
go.
ASP.NET, modern ASP.NET app that I'm getting, and I'm hosting
Sure.
this as I would host any other, like
Do,
FlyIS or whatever. I can
yeah.
put this up anywhere else. I can host a ASP.NET app, and then things start up. Now,
Yep.
if I'm the IT person, would I be the one getting this off the ground and then letting my devs go at it?
No, probably not. Probably, it is a development application from the ground up. So it is a three-tiered architecture. So we still do have some reliance on .NET Framework. We're getting away from that obviously as we continue down the .NET 7 and beyond path. So we have our IIS .NET Framework application, right? Can host it IIS Express, run it out of Visual Studio. You could put it on a box in your basement if you really want to. Whatever. Again, doesn't make a difference to us, or your local laptop. And then we have
Yeah.
a front end renderer, which can be a choice of many different technologies.
Yeah.
And in the case of those instruction manual that you just looked at, it would be ASP.NET 7
Okay. Yeah.
web application. A couple NuGet packages there. They then intercommunicate via web services.
Okay. Yes. Since I come from that Microsoft dev world, naming is hard. It's one of the hardest
So hard.
problems of modern computing. So, for folks watching, like in the .NET realm, if you have not paid attention, we had a lot of things evolve. So we started with the .NET framework, that was the runtime. Then we moved on to .NET Core, and now it's just .NET. So everything has been combined, all of the base class libraries and everything that makes modern .NET what it is. It's just .NET, and we have had that since .NET 6 and .NET 7, and now .NET 8 is the latest one as of last November. And then every year we get a new .NET. So it's going to be .NET 9 this year, and 10, and so on. So
Sitefinity actually started on traditional ASP.
Oh, I see. Okay. So
Yeah,
ASP.NET is the web development stack that runs on top of .NET, and
that's right.
ASP has also had a nice, interesting history. Started with like Spaghetti ASP, then it became ASP.NET, which used to run on the .NET framework. But moving forward with we had ASP.NET Core, which was running on .NET Core, and now again it's just ASP.NET that runs on modern .NET. And the runtime is the one that maybe you care about. It's 7 or 8 or 9, whichever one that you want. But you're telling me, Jonathan, this is just modern ASP.NET Core 7, and I can run this on modern .NET.
Yeah, as far as the front end rendering technology, yes, absolutely. Now the CMS layer, which produces the communication between the database and produces the web services, still does rely on .NET Framework
Okay.
or
Okay.
ASP.NET Framework to be
Sure.
specific. So again, as we're looking into the future, this is changing. So using this three-tiered technology gives us some benefit to kind of switch out the middle tiers to newer technologies with little impact to end users. So,
You also dropped a bomb and you said
uh oh,
databases.
uh oh,
What
I did it.
database? Where
Here,
is the database living?
do me a solid. Let's get a picture up here. Let's go to docs.sitefinity.com.
All right.
Beep, boop, boop, bop, beep, boop. I'm driving the Sam here. All right. In the bottom left hand, you see ASP.NET Core Renderer. Let's go to
Yep.
that real quick. And then let's look at the three-tiered architecture.
Oh,
One more down. Perfect.
surprise! Like it would help if I read the docs, right?
No, 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 no. Let's make that. Yeah, you can actually click on the image and make it full screen.
Okay, there you
All
go.
right. Here is our architecture. Now, keep in mind, if we go all the way to the right-hand side, tier 3, we do have a choice in a couple different
Yeah,
technologies.
yeah.
Angular and the Next.js are what I'll call beta. They're available through our GitHub, right? We're looking for those early adopters, people who want to get their hands dirty, help us guide those particular products, right? Now, again, we got to update our name here, but the .NET ASP.NET Core renderer is our front end technology. This is what you'll be entering in on. This is what
Yeah.
you'll load balance. This is the front end rendering technology.
Yeah, and I think by like .NET Core Render, you mean anything that's front end, because like it's like an
It can
ASP.NET,
be
yeah,
correct.
render. Yeah.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
Now again, yeah. So that tier 3 can be a number of different technologies, and that's perfectly acceptable. It then communicates where it says page layout service. These are our RESTful web services.
Hmm.
So these are JSON OData services that it communicates with the CMS layer. The CMS layer then, of course, does magic and has caching and all sorts of other goodies, communicating with, of course, the database layer.
Okay. And the database layer that needs to be hosted somewhere. Like, is that SQL Server as the default?
It's stone tablets chiseled in by
Somewhere.
by Jay
Oh boy. Somewhere under the ocean, there's a database.
under the ocean. He's doing
Yeah.
it out of coral reef, the Great Barrier Reef at that. No, yeah, it is a Microsoft SQL
Okay.
database or Azure SQL database, perfectly acceptable as well.
So this is what I was trying to get to. So I come in fresh to Sitefinity and I hit the trial button. I got the bits, but I, as the developer, maybe I don't want to do any of this hosting business. Like, get me out of it. So let me stick to my tier 3
Right.
so I can build the front ends, I can build APIs.
Yep.
So this stuff, is that for my IT to figure out whether they want to do on-prem or whether they want to do SaaS or PaaS, so I can be relieved of all of that?
Sitefinity comes in many flavors, right?
All right.
So yes, this architecture can be hosted by Progress in two distinct flavors, so to speak: platform as a service or software as a service.
Okay.
Platform as a service gets you access to each one of those tiers for full customization. Software as a service gets you access to the front end rendering tier, where that's all you clone as a developer. So if you wanna do it in your favorite MacBook, by
Yeah.
all means, because
Okay.
.NET is in any runtime now. You can do it with VS Code on and not have to worry about the .NET technology at all,
Gotcha.
except for the
Okay.
fact if you wanted to use ASP.NET 7 for
Yeah.
the renderer. But if you wanted to do strictly React or Angular, you don't have to worry about any .NET technology for that
Mhm.
matter, and get to
Yeah.
use all point and click functionality of the CMS.
Okay. So what you're essentially telling me is, if I want it to be hands off, then my IT
Mhm.
has some choices to make as to where they
Yep.
are going to host the database and how they're going to run Sitefinity as, if I may call it, like the engine, like the
Yep.
CMS engine and the layout service and the caching and everything. And that could be based on how much maintenance they want. Like, do they want to actually maintain the OS? Do they want to maintain
Right.
the database versus maintain .NET and then Sitefinity on top of it? Or you could be
Don't forget to get
completely
the server
headless.
licenses, manage the server licenses, pay
Yeah,
for the
yeah,
server
all the good
licenses.
stuff. Okay.
Yeah, all the don't forget all the fun stuff.
Yeah. So that's what you mean by, like, if I come down here and I look at the developers tab here, when you say cloud, that's what you mean. So that can all
Yep.
be, it's a sliding scale and you can move it to whatever you want, and it can be
Yep.
completely a SaaS where you don't need to own or think about anything. It's just there for you
Yep.
to use.
Correct. Yep. The only thing with SaaS, you would really be you'd be managing your content, your data, right? And then yes, the front end tier of the application will take care of the database management, the CMS management, etc.
Gotcha.
It
Okay.
automatic upgrades the CMS.
Hmm.
The renderer, you have a choice of when you'd like to upgrade it to get new features or patches. I think we will require one update a year by default. The platform as a service again gets you a little bit more control over the CMS layer. So you would manage the code of the CMS layer and the renderer layer specifically. So you have a little bit more control with the platform as a service. Some of our customers like to extend the back end of Sitefinity, custom backend screens, some of this type of stuff. This would require you to have the platform as a service version of
Okay.
the application, the hosted application. On-prem, go
Yeah.
wild. It's whatever
Hmm.
you want.
Okay. So that's kind of what you mean when you say headless, like it's a decoupled architecture by like from the ground up.
Well, you opened another can of worms there
That's a different thing.
with the headless, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Sitefinity by default is headless, right? Because we can take those RESTful services and we can consume them
Because you
anywhere,
have this.
right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now we're decoupled in the nature of, look, our front end understands the back end, right? And we can't do that without having somewhat of a knowledge of our friends, right? So we're not completely a headless horseman riding around with a lantern, right? We have a really bright spotlight, and we're like marginally headless, so to speak, right?
Jonathan has
We can
extreme
still,
examples.
I do. Well, we're a Boston-based company. You got to go with the headless horseman, right? I mean, that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, we offer all the way down to, if you really wanted to just work in, .NET Framework, I don't recommend it, but we can still do a coupled approach where you only have the 2 tiers. But yeah, headless is by nature been in Sitefinity for longer than headless has been like the word, right? I mean, it's just been there. It just wasn't talked about in that way. So you can,
since before it was cool, right?
before it was cool. I mean, again, Sitefinity started as active server pages, ASP, and then we rewrote in version 4 to, use ASP.NET, and now, as we look into .NET 7 and beyond, we do that. But yeah, it is headless by nature, by design, for that matter.
Yeah, I like this little diagram here as well. It kind of shows you, like, here's the main driving force, and then you can render it on your front end or native apps or wearables or IoT,
That's
whatever it is that you want. Okay.
So it's decoupled because the front end still has, again, an understanding about mostly how the page structure works. Because other than that, you're really just consuming collections of data, right? So content management system is really, we got pages, maybe, depending on what type of content management system it is. But in a decoupled content management system, or more traditional content management system, you have concept of pages. Pages typically expose content and or other things. And then you have content, right? Contents are buckets of information, typically structured, like news, blog post, events, which we all come out of the box with. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, you're welcome. And then your own types of content, whether it's, a rates table for financial services, or it's locations, well, for financial services too, or it's whatever, people in your organization. You want to, structure out, what do I need to fill out in order to successfully display Sam, Jay, and John on a website? Well, they'd never be able to do it. The bios would be way too long and be cut off by the search engines. But other than that,
the name dropping.
Yeah, there you go. See what I did there. So I mean, so headless is really, to me, and again, in my humble opinion, is really just consuming the buckets of content, right? Where it has no idea, except for maybe what it expects to get for fields. Where the decoupled, we have this idea of the layout service, which instructs a UI on what it could or should be able to render. And then, of course, the UI, pun intended, if it can't react to it, it might not display. Oh, boom, come on, give me some. All right, I'm done.
That was hard on the React folks.
Yeah.
And by the way, 1998 called. Felix was talking about classic ASP VB script. Oh boy, that brings.
Oh yeah, I still do. I do macros in Excel all the time. We're in.
Oh boy, yeah, we are showing
all the greats started with VB. All the greats.
I remember the classic ASP days, and even still to this day, the folks who are coming out of college and they see Blazor, they see React, and everything is good, but the older folks get a little bit of a shudder, and we get a little scared when we see markup and business logic way too close to each other.
Absolutely.
That is inviting a lot of problems testing wise. So you got to separate the two as far as possible. Okay. So I get all of this here, Jonathan, but I need some inspiration. So I get what I get out of the box, but what kind of things can I build with Sitefinity? Like, can you show me a little bit of a getting started experience, or better still, like, here's something polished that's built with Sitefinity, so I'm inspired?
How much time you got?
Oh boy.
We can
Oh
inspire
boy.
you all day
27
long.
minutes.
So 27 minutes? Oh boy, you're gonna have to.
We tried doing an hour, but yeah,
You
that's
could.
all you got to inspire us. So yeah, feel free to bring up your desktop, maybe show us some things.
I think
Jay, yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say no. I was gonna say I think Jay cracked the egg on this one
He did.
last time, so we're gonna
Yeah,
bring it
yeah.
back up again, and that is our
I
quantum
see. I see.
digital bank experience. You
I
got that
love the
there?
name though. It's
Yeah,
quantum banking. Nothing like it.
quantum leap.
We
Anybody? Quantum
we
leap. Do you like the new one?
Mm.
Just really off topic here. Do you like the new quantum leap? Have you watched it? Anybody?
wait. Are you talking
No.
the movie?
Yeah. No, no, no.
TV.
The TV,
TV.
the series. So
Oh,
that we had the Scott Bakula Quantum Leap, right? What in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now there's another version of Quantum Leap. Yeah, check it out.
I didn't even know that there was a new one.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
There's
so,
some throwback. There's some throwback for sure. They're
Don't
actually
make
continuing as Quest. You're welcome. Every
don't,
time I
so
don't
read anything quantum in our documentation or anything else, this is where my mind goes. It's just way out there and not.
don't make me look up references. I use Bing, so I don't get
Yeah,
too far.
we won't. I mean, at least you don't use like Dogpile or something, right?
Uh, okay,
DuckDuckGo? Anybody?
so
Okay, sorry.
DuckDuckGo. Oh, that's another whole other thing. Okay, so you're showing me a web application.
Yeah,
Are you showing me a
yeah,
backend API? Are you showing me a backend UI? Are you
yeah,
showing me the front end UI? Is this for the customer? Is this for my marketing person, IT person? What am I looking at?
yeah. That's a great question. What are we looking at? So, I mean, typically we would refer to it as the front end, right? So this
Okay.
is what's exposed to your end users. Now, it could be secured, right? Because we do offer permissions based applications, of course. Now, this one is a public facing banking website, right?
Okay.
So, goal being get more share of the wallet,
Yeah.
kind of thing, right? So we want to obviously entice our potential banker. I don't know what the right word is.
Keys.
Banker is somebody who works there, right?
Okay, so
Whatever the right term is.
before you go into the customer,
Uh,
so like
uh,
let me
yeah.
get this straight. So I am the new CEO of Quantum Bank, and I see that our
Congratulations.
I have quite a pile on my hands to figure out how to turn this thing around. But I say throw away everything that you have done. We are going all in with Sitefinity as our CMS and see what we can build out of it. So this is going to be the front end that our customer sees,
Yep.
but is this going to also be the front end that my marketing person sees to set up some things for the customer, or is it going to be different?
Actually, technically speaking, it's WYSIWYG, right? So what you see is what you get. So as I do jump in, which I'm not right now, but if I do log into the back end and then I go to manage a page, it'll look much like this.
Okay.
You're going to put components onto the page, like you want a new one in between the big banner and the home buyer area. You place a component in there, you configure it, you preview it in mobile, you preview it in desktop, you publish it, or even schedule to publish for the next banking day or whatever it is. Maybe we have another day off.
Okay,
That
so
was that was a U.S. banking hours joke. Sorry, guys. We're on the
this is a thing that includes all of the content that my users get to see, and I'm guessing if I had an IT and a dev, setup where we have multiple environments of moving through between dev to test to QA and
Mhm.
prod, then the same instance of it can be replicated across different environments, and then you push it out and you maybe set up syncs so you can publish things out for your end
Yep.
users. Okay.
Yeah, one of the kind of I mean, in general, we don't particularly care how many environments you have. So, and then we have two processes within Sitefinity. There is a code process. In general, you follow Microsoft deployment patterns. In cloud, we give you pipelines using Azure DevOps. You click buttons and you walk away, and then it's done
Fancy.
in a few minutes, right?
Mhm.
And there's zero downtime and lots of other good aspects of it. And then there are content workflows or content flow, which is outside of code. Now, content may rely on code, so you do have to be in coordination to be fully disclosed here. So, if if you have developers and they've produced a new widget and you try to sync it to production and the widget doesn't live there, well, you might get an error on the page, right? I mean, that's, so, they do take some amount of coordination, but there are two different processes for code and content. And in this particular case, we have many bits of code on here. And then we also have lots of bits of content, right? And that content may be exposed from some different areas, like these are news articles
Mhm.
per se. And these are little calls to action, and how they're set up really differs. And a form to, of course, collect information, stuff like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Okay, so you said a couple of things in here, and I think Jay, you were alluding to this last week. So there's content, and then there's code. So if I'm a marketing person, I don't want to open a Visual Studio. I want to see this as a backend where I have my WYSIWYG. Like I have my editors. I can throw up banners. I can throw things up on page. As they look, it just shows up. And then what do the devs do? Like, what would the backend for this look like for the developers in the house? Are they going to see the whole platform runtime? Are they going to see the code for each widget, or is it all up to what they want to open up?
So we'll have a Visual Studio project, right? And again, we'll focus in on the front end at this particular point. So we'll have a Visual Studio project, right, or Visual Studio Code. If you want to just open a folder, perfectly fine. And we're going to follow model view control patterns for .NET speaking applications, right? React, very similar situation, but not exactly. I'm not going to go down that path today, but in general, yeah, you're going to have a solution / project. It's going to have your front end technology. It's going to include your CSS, use less, use Sass, use whatever it is you want from a front end pre-processing technology standpoint. And then you're going to have your widgets, and you're going to have maybe business logic, class libraries. I mean, you can do all sorts of great fun stuff. But sort of in general, page template, widget templates. So a widget is, a functionality piece, right? It then would also have its own views / templates. Now we're going to throw Razor in there on your Blazor earlier, and we're going to have all the Azers.
Uh, who sets up a page template? Is that something that comes built in with Sitefinity, or could the devs do any customizations?
Customizations are definitely welcome. You have again access to a CSHTML file, so you can put customizations into there. But we also have, but you don't have to put a lot. What I mean by that is things like JavaScript. We'd recommend using something like Google Tag Manager, where we have just a configuration-based portion of the backend of Sitefinity for you to place your Google tag in there, and now you can inject scripts until your brain explodes. But wait, we're going to keep you secure though, because we do have content security policies. You have to allow those connecting scripts through the content security policy, so you can't haphazardly just add stuff. So disclaimer there. You can
Yeah.
add them till your head explodes, but you're going to end up with console errors because you gotta have somebody approve that they're secure. Typically, that area of Sitefinity is restricted to administrators. But anyway, so you don't have to do a lot of customization in CSHTML. For my personal experience, I'm often adding semantic markup, so like a header, a main, and a footer. And then those are areas where I can start to drag in other components of the CMS. So that being said, limited amount of effort as far as the actual templating goes, in my humble opinion. Let's do as much as we can in the CMS. Reason
Sure.
being is it becomes flexible and becomes
Mhm.
inheritable. So we can actually layer in different templates and whatever. So in the case of like this site, the header and footer, so the light gray, the white, and all the way down here, the purple gradient, that's part of my base template. My homepage always has a different template. It's always different. It's got your banners, it's got your scroll-a-majabis and your what's-a-madooies and all that good stuff. And then your other pages probably have inner templates and stuff like that. But so we do inheritance. So it's a combination of development, a little bit. We do give you a default template, and you can by all means run with it. And then a lot of CMS functionality, because our are, because it's a content management system, we want it to behave like a content management system. Things like, the main navigation. If I want to change it, I want to go to my site map navigation. I want to edit the name of the page or move it in the order. And then I want to, publish that and it be done.
Yeah.
So, you can
So
do.
you're saying the benefits of having a CMS here is like you try to do maybe whatever customizations you absolutely need, but then your non-technical people can still go in and they have the ability to make WYSIWYG pages. They can make their own widgets. They can change up navigation. They can change up the styles of the images, all of it without code, because that then you're looking at just Sitefinity. Now, would you call that like the backend UI, like the Sitefinity's mode where you can set up pages? Like what do you call that?
Magic Land.
Magic Land.
Everybody calls it.
La
Right?
La Land. Yeah.
No, I mean, yeah, I'll interchange, admin app or
Yeah.
backend or just /Sitefinity because
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, as far as the backend editing experience, let me see if I can do this right here. Go up there. No, it doesn't want to go up there. So here is the same page, but you notice
now
it is a
you're
little bit different.
it is different.
But this is my
Mhm.
editing experience.
I see.
Why is it different? Sam, you know why it's different? Or Jay? I don't know why it's different.
The banner is different, and it looks like there's some
Yeah.
customization going on based on who you
Yeah.
are, what you're coming in
Ooh,
as.
good call. So yeah, it is. So when we were showing the earlier the front end of the application, yeah, it was personalized to my experience. I had actually interacted with some pages and our chat bot down here to show interest in a topic. Whatever, I don't even remember what it was by now. Was this one home loan? Yeah, it was home loans on that one.
Yeah.
So the page has changed. So you can actually see up here, it's actually been personalized. So, but yeah, I mean, if you note here, I mean, this looks exactly the same as the front end.
Right.
It's just, it's just the back end.
Nice. So you mentioned a few things that were built in. So what are some things, like if I adopt Sitefinity as a CMS, what are some things that I get out of the box? Like I see blogs, I see images, I see content, I see pages, news, events. That's a lot.
So
forms.
News, blogs, forums,
Forms, yeah.
So news, blogs, events, images, videos, so lightweight, digital asset management videos, forms, so contact us style forms, list, content blocks, these would be shared rich text editor blocks across multiple pages. And then we have some custom content types for ours. We got the good old BB.
That was me.
We caught him. We caught him.
What is a BB?
We don't know. Jay, what is a BB? Besides,
might find out later.
You get shot with as a kid. I don't know.
It's a result of a lazy typist.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so this is not scary. Like if I am a non-technical person, I don't need to, go ping my devs. I can customize my pages and my widgets, and I can add as many news items and blogs as I want. It's all going to adhere to the same styles, and it's just going to be published on the homepage or wherever you have things set up.
Lots of testing going on here, but yeah, I mean, content. It's as we mentioned earlier, alluded to. I mean, it's structured, right? So you got to fill in a certain set of fields, and you can publish it. Obviously, you can save it for later, schedule publishing, whatever.
Question. So when I say I want to run Sitefinity, I'm just starting from scratch. I want to run it locally on my machine. Once everything goes in and it's installed, the initial site, does it have this admin look, or do I need to create something to get this admin look?
Nope. This backend interface, this is out of the box, right?
Out of the box. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, one of the first places to start, aside from a page template, is modeling any other types of content that you might need. So you may have saw this. We have things like products and services, right? Where we're able to have like a listing of products, like again, credit cards, insurance, home loans in one place, homepage per se, right? You click on it, you drill into some details. This is a way for us to structure it out. So when marketing, editing, they're like, oh, we came up with a new product, right? Or now we're aside from investing, we want, I'm drawing a blank on other cool financial services terms here, but they basically come in here, they create a new product, and much like you saw with the news, it's just some structured information. We need a title, we need a description, and we need some media to go along with it. So
Okay.
this module is
Yeah.
something that we produced on our own, right? With the module builder. Now, side note, I can't show it to you here because I'm in a cloud environment, and you got to start it locally in order to follow our best practices from coding perspective. So I can't show it to you here, but basically you design out these types of content. Pick all the fields. Is it hierarchical? Parent-child relationships. Do you want to relate one type of content to another type of content? So maybe we had a rates table in this particular example, and we wanted to relate it to a particular credit card product. We could do that. But yeah, I can't actually show you the module builder in here because it's a cloud environment.
Okay, so I get the pages, I get the content. What's the administration? What's under administration in the back end?
You want to get in my nuts and bolts right now?
No, just roughly. What's
we only got 11 minutes. You're going to get me unscrewed here.
And what's marketing? Just to throw it on.
Yeah. So marketing, that's personalization, A/B testing, and access to the Insight platform.
Okay.
So personalization allows you to segment out users based on activities, based on GeoIP, based on conversions from Insight or touch points or any combination of those things. Came from site. What are those things that we put in the string with the
query
strings? There we go. Somebody got me.
Yep.
Right, there was that Monday brain finally caught up.
Monday evening. Okay, and administration, if I'm just to guess, it's all about how my site behaves. Like, who are the users? What roles do they have? What authentication do they have? Oh, I see search indexes, files, web services, all the things. All right.
Okay, yeah. We're going to go to web services because we were talking about it earlier. But yeah, we have the concept of OData, and we'll even tell you exactly how to use it. So here's how I get news.
Oh, so all of the things that my marketing person set up, if I wanted to have access to just the news feed or just the blogs, I could get RESTful access to it.
Sure.
Absolutely. And is that built in? Or do I need to do stuff?
No, it's built in.
Okay. All right.
Yep.
All right. So I can get up and running with this. I get Sitefinity installed. JTest. There we go. Okay, so I install Sitefinity and I can get up and running, but it's going to look pretty bad if I don't have any ways to make it look better. And by that I mean, like, I have a designer working with me. Maybe they're giving me some, image assets, and then you mentioned this, like, then they give me some style. So maybe I have a whole design system that I want to customize so everything looks consistent. And it's personalized to people's preferences. So we have a separate developer tooling product called Theme Builder, and I've heard that you could customize your styles and then bring that in. So all of that is stuff that I'm going to add here to my content or my pages to make it look like the way I want.
Yeah, I mean, bring Theme Builder, bring Kendo widgets and tools, and absolutely. Bring your own flavors. We do ship with Bootstrap 5 as far as a mobile and responsive, but you could flop it out for Tailwind or other, other responsive frameworks. That it's a matter of just, again, changing some sources and doing some other stuff like that. But getting started, depends on your experience, right? I mean, you could stand up Sitefinity, use a default template plus Bootstrap, and you can make a very compelling site. I mean, that's definitely not out of the question. Now, that being said, most customers have a design. They've either been through a design agency, they're working through it with a design agency. If you're doing that, tell them Bootstrap 5 is the easiest because we ship with it, but use a column-based responsive grid. I mean, most of them are using that nowadays anyway. And again, bringing that in is just a matter of kind of slicing and dicing up whatever physical design that organization gives to you. So if you got
Yeah.
Figma and you can output the HTML with the CSS, you just got to move some things around, find the appropriate place to put it in Sitefinity. It's going to be a widget template, it's going to be part of a page template, or it's going to be a custom widget. Slice, you
Okay.
dice, you bring it in, bada
Oh,
boom, bada bing, and we're done.
so question on that. So you mentioned like if you are using like a column-based layout, like bring that
Yeah.
in as a page template. So if you go under pages, like do you have a sample page where you could show us like what the page backend looks like? Because like
Yeah,
some of this, go ahead.
we'll just start one up. We'll just start one up from scratch here.
Yeah, okay. So
We'll create a John test. We'll follow the pattern of Jay.
That's it. Way to use your imagination.
oh, so this is where it comes in.
Right.
And so if you, I mean, could you import anything new than what's in this, or could you
So here,
customize
let's
this?
get to the next screen here. So once you get into the page building experience, the template builder in Sitefinity follows these same principles, right?
Okay.
So I can add a widget here or a component, and if I pop open this little sidebar here, you can see
There it is.
that it's quite complex as far as the structure goes for the particular page. But so the page template builder, same process. It just applies for more than one page. In fact, if I was really doing my due diligence here, I would actually lock these top sections here so I couldn't add stuff
Sure.
into
Yeah.
the navigation here. I didn't take that effort, but
No,
I
no. I
should
mean,
keep guys
it's
like Jay
understandable.
out.
So, like
You want that.
the top notch guys come in, like Jonathan, and
Yeah.
they just lock it in. So then Jay and me can enjoy our freedom within our confined
That's right.
widget area.
That's bumper bowling at its best.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that's how I get started. And is user management kind of built in? Like if I wanted to,
Mhm.
is the is it basic like forms authentication? What if I wanted to do Facebook or Microsoft authentication? Can I do that?
BYOA, bring your own authentication if you want.
Do not try to rediscover your authentication, at least.
No, yeah. No, I mean, we definitely have, username, password, roles-based authentication and permissions, but you can bring your own favorite authentication platform. Our cloud platforms all ship with Azure AD, and we use Azure B2B for authentication to the back end of Sitefinity and to the DevOps portals and et cetera. Now, if you're already a Microsoft customer, we're basically adding another directory to your current AD account, so you'd be single sign-on kind of by default, right? Bring Okta, bring OAuth, bring OpenID Connect. All of those things are configuration-based within the back end of Sitefinity. You can allow those for both back-end access, so administration type access, as well as front-end portal type access. So if I wanted to, well, which we do, we have a portal for our banking customers to log in. We could provide that via Azure or Okta or something of similar, right? Where we have to manage authentication through identity provider elsewhere. So we could allow that for front-end access. We can do claims to roles. We can do profile or claims to profile fields, whatever it is that you want. Yeah, and including social providers as well. So yeah, Facebook and some of the other ones.
Okay. All right. So on my first day as the CEO of Quantum Digital Bank, I have fired my entire dev team. Like there's nobody left. And I want
Sounds about right.
Yeah. You're going to change the name of Quantum Bank as well. Just maybe make it shorter.
So
Q Bank.
I don't have any other dev jobs, and I come to you to say I want a website, but I just want this. Give me a setup where I just have this admin look and feel. So does Sitefinity SaaS or PaaS take care of all of this hosting so I can start from this admin view, where I start building out pages
Yeah.
and I don't have
Yeah,
to think about
absolutely.
anything else?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we provision all accounts or whatever. Yeah, all backend setups, all authentication as far as accessing the backend. If you do need to develop or you do decide you want to develop, we would give you access to DevOps and pipelines and deployment processes and all that type of stuff. But yeah, if you clean house and you're ready for a new digital experience platform, and you pick Sitefinity Cloud, you can be up and running as fast as you can sign the check, and we provision it, which is typically really fast.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I am seeing the promise here with this bank customer facing website. Are there any particular things in here that you like? Are there things you want to build up or change or update as we go along?
Yeah, I mean, I think yeah, we're going to kind of dissect some of the parts of it. Probably Jay more from the marketing side and me from the technical side, and how Jay, I think, often is great with strategy, where I'm great obviously in the technology realm. So we're going to dissect bits and pieces of this particular site and how it's put together, and how we use it, how we personalize, how we segment, how we whatever. I think
Mhm.
those are definitely some goals for our future shows together.
Okay. Because
I don't
I
know.
also forgot to tell you, like as the CEO, I also got rid of my marketing department. So I have
Oh well,
nobody
yeah,
left,
yeah,
right? So I have to sell this to hire new folks to do marketing and IT and dev for me. So show me the whole, like as we build this out, show me the whole story. So
yeah.
what can I do to entice developers to give them the flexibility, give them all the APIs and the headless and everything that that they crave for, and for the marketing to not show them any of the things that they don't want to see, but just be able to have that personalization, easy way to update things. And for IT, maybe you are hosting it from the get-go, but what if I build up some muscle and I buy some servers, and then I start doing more of my updates, and I want to control the cadence of the CMS and the platform updates. So what do those things mean for my dev staff, my IT staff, and my marketing staff?
Well, Sitefinity Cloud's like Hotel California. Get your Bing out and check that one out. You can check out, but you can't ever leave. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay.
but no, I mean, all things are definitely. I mean, Sitefinity offers best of both worlds, plain and simple.
Yep.
Let developers shine as developers, let marketers shine as marketers, and they get a commingle in very nice patterns. So even if you do, as a developer, generate a custom widget, we have patterns to help expose what we call designers, which then as a developer, I'm like, okay, I really don't want to talk to marketing ever again. If I give them these 5 fields to configure,
Hmm.
they'll leave me alone for the next 3 weeks, and I can go build out a new cool feature while they continue to maintain and manage their own content on the site.
Yep. Yeah, and I mean, if I go to college campuses and start hiring really fresh grads, they might want to do Next.js and React and Blazor and .NET MAUI and all the cool front end things. And then I might be wanting to take this to the next level where I, really do some more fancy dev stuff using the APIs and all the good things. So the decoupled architecture is really going to help. All right, I have my work cut out as a CEO, but I have the whole year to turn this thing around.
You're ruthless too, boy.
All right, all right. No, this was good. This was good. Yeah, like you and me have talked about this years and years back, but Sitefinity has also evolved quite a bit. So it's nice
Yes.
to see all the things that it is today. It like you said, it really is different things for different people. Like it serves the best of interests of both devs and QA and IT people and marketers. Okay, so I think this is a start. Let's dissect this a little bit more. Let's still stay in the Sitefinity realm. I just want to get this site up and running first. So anything that we are not proud of, let's fix it, and then we can launch this to all of our customers, and then we'll see how else or what other channels we can take this experience to. But let's start with Sitefinity. All right, I think we are easily over an hour. Jonathan, I'm going to bring down your desktop if there is nothing more to show, so your
No.
glorious
Okay.
faces show a little bit more. But this was good. This was a good refresher for me, and good to see what I can do to get started. I might start tinkering with some, the new hosted trial once that's live. In the meantime, I can try doing things locally and see where I can get to. We'll be back here. Oh, there's the cat. No show with Jonathan is full or is done without the appearance of the cat walking on the keyboard. Although he's not typing, he or she is not typing anything.
That's why I had to put the keyboard under the desk.
That's it from us. This show, Jonathan and Jay, gentlemen, thanks for hanging out with me. This was great. And
See you later, guys.
yeah, everybody else, be well, be productive, and we'll see you around on the next stream.